Can you hear me now? Oh yeah, sorry, my interface was being weird. Okay, it's all good. Okay, cool. I'm just playing the intro. Yeah. And welcome back to the Charged Weekly Race. Here we are with Rookie Split B. It's me, your boy, the Flat Earth, Flat Daddy, Flat Gang, Flat Baby 420, Flat Earth Mom, aka James. And I'm joined today in the commentary booth by Stephen. Say hi, Stephen.
Hi everybody.
How are you doing today?
I'm good.
You ready for some hot rookie fun?
I'm hoping for not that many crashes last week.
Well, it's going to be an interesting one. Of course, last week was a plentiful crash laden race with the Formula Agiles. Not massively easier this week with the Ginetta GT5. It is incredibly light and it has a little bit of power to it. It's quite a bit of a kicker. And Croft circuit, not a circuit that a lot of people have raced before, and it's got quite a lot of bumps and it's narrow. Fantastic circuit, but a little bit of a challenge. Here we are at the end of practice. We currently have Tatsuya sitting on top at the end of practice in the lovely apple green charged spec livery for the week. Not all the names are showing up on ACTV yet because ACTV is bizarre, but we should have, I think, about 18 or 19 people in this split today. We've had, of course, have two rookie splits this week because of mass participation. We're also joined by Tatsuya.
As usual.
Pedro Oliveira, who's slowly becoming a regular. Gonzulo, who I think it might be Gonzulo's first race. Maybe he raced last week. Mera de Berra. We have Mako, Kartoska, Farwall, and Bundawa. Of course, this is the no livery split. The rookies with custom liveries are all in Rookie Split B being Rookie Split A being commentated on by Will and Camo. So for all the fun liveries, go see there. But you get to see the lovely charged spec skins, which I absolutely didn't make in 10 minutes.
Did you make them in 10 minutes?
I made them very quickly. It didn't take me very long. I just got the template up. I was like, here's a stripe, here's some colours, here's some stickers, done.
I'm not saying anything how much time it took for like 2 liveries this week.
Yeah, but I've been making spec liveries every week for months, so you get used to it pretty quickly. But yeah, we should...
The one I was like done in an hour, and the other one was like done in 4 hours because the guy didn't reply to me and he was like, no, I want this, no, I want this.
Oh no, yeah, doing
like
liveries
like 4 times.
Doing liveries for other people is always hard. I remember when, before I learned all the shortcuts and things I've learned now, it used to take me hours and hours and hours. It would take me all week. That's a bad rejoin there from Charlie Hand 55. It used to take me all week. I remember our endurance race liveries used to take me all month. I'd spend as much time on the liveries as I did practicing. Anyway, I've just noticed that Quantum is racing in this split, so he's going to win this split. I can tell you that already.
He's gonna win it,
But it'll be interesting to see
for more people to show up because like I miss some people.
Yeah, it's just ACTV. In a second, when the session restarts, I'm sure we will see there's about 18 or 19 people in the split, I would imagine, for today. We will find out in a minute.
There we have Simon White.
Yep, just coming across the line, doing a 2:05. So that's obviously his first kind of valid lap of the session. Of course, ACTV only counts valid laps, so it is hard to see sometimes who's actually on the track. Mera de Berra and Kartoska all have stopped as well, as we're getting ready for qualifying.
Somebody's flashing his lights as usual. And this week we also have the beautiful horn, if somebody has mapped it.
It's showing me up as 15th, so I think we have 14 cars in the split. There's MC in 14th, and who's below that? Kevin Cameron, Bundawa, Mako, Simon White, Vanish, Kartoska, Rabbi. Yeah, there's Charlie Hand is 17th, so is that 17th or 11th? That's 17th that we should have.
17.
About 17 people today, which is pretty good, I think. Just getting ready for the start of qualifying. It's a lovely evening in in Yorkshire right now, where Croft Circuit is, looking very pretty. Of course, AC is always a very beautiful game. Look at that lovely skyline.
Look at the landscape.
I know,
It's
lovely
beautiful.
trees, Yorkshire countryside.
There were some glitches this week where you can like massively cut the track.
Yeah, tell us about those.
At one point there was like somebody punted me off when we were like doing practice, and I was like doing with British practice, and then I was like, oh, I'm now first. What? Because I lost like the where the track was, so I drove like to the nearest track where people started driving, and I'm like, what? I'm first. Okay, drive. And then I like won the race, and then got maybe angry James and angry Simon and angry Frodo behind me.
Behave.
I'm like, okay, never doing that again.
Let me see if I can just go back into the pits and have a look. Yeah, we should have 17 people. That's including me, so it should be 16 drivers today. So let's get ourselves into a nice little vantage position as the cars all
like,
coming out of the pits.
It's massively. I'm also hoping for SMC for a pretty good result today. It's first time racing, so yeah, it's gonna be probably or a crash fest or some fun.
Of course, Fast has been making waves in the Rocket League matches that we've had, so it'd be nice to see his skills in Assetto Corsa.
No, not the Rocket League.
Oh, that wasn't him in Rocket League. Who is it? Who is your friend in Rocket League?
It's Flitspal.
Oh, too many Dutch friends.
I have too many Dutch people on this server.
You are rapidly multiplying.
Coloniseerd.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see. I think definitely Quantum is going to be the pace setter this week in this rookie split.
Tatsuya,
Yeah, we have a couple regulars in this split, but it's a lot of new people as well, so it'll be a nice mix to see how everybody gets on.
I'm excited about Simon White today.
Yeah, I hope Simon can have a good race here. He had a little bit of trouble last week, and hopefully he's had an opportunity to learn, and he can get knuckled down, do some racing today. I'm sure he'll be all good once he gets started.
I'm still very grateful for last week that I got a pro split after my horrifying accidents in the Hungaroring with the Agile.
We know you didn't do very much practice for that race, so you've been really good in the MX-5s, and you definitely meet the requirements we have for pro split criteria, so we're very happy to have you on board, Stephen. We are going to be doing a little bit of work in the coming weeks. We had a really productive admin meeting on Friday. We're going to be looking at readdressing the balance of the splits and opening it up a little bit more. So our aim is to have people racing in splits where they can develop and they can grow and learn their skills. And for some people who are...
Somebody goes off.
There are some drivers who are really quick but are maybe not the best wheel to wheel, and putting them in rookie split where it's just a crash fest every week maybe isn't best for their development. So we're looking on readdressing the tiers and making sure that the top split stays nice and clean, and that's for people who are dedicated in practice and want to race really cleanly, but also having an environment where newer drivers can learn in an environment that's appropriate for them. So there will be work coming on that. We are, as we continue to grow. No, I think you're going to be fine in the pro split for a while, but what the pro split is might be jiggled around a little bit, but yeah, it will still be a healthy environment for everyone. We don't want people to be racing in a split that makes them unhappy, either a split that's too competitive for them or one that's full of too many crashes, so we definitely want to keep working on it.
Is this all because of Toaster, or
No, it's not. Well, I mean, that was one factor of it. Like, for example, Toaster is a good driver. He's a good community member. He's been here for a long time. He's fast. He's clean. He's everything you would expect from a pro driver. But he wants to race in rookie this week, and he's over in rookie split A. And I personally don't see an issue with it. My only issue is I think he's too fast. So Toaster may be smurfing rookie split A little bit this week, but his reasoning was, after he stopped trolling us, was that he just finds pro split too competitive and he wants to race in the rookie split because it's a little bit more he can race at his own pace there, which I think is good. Like, we don't want anyone to be forced to drive wherever they're uncomfortable. As Tatsuya currently sets provisional pole, and Kartoska goes even quicker, and Pedro Oliveira already filling up that mix.
And they're already doing 132, so that's probably fast. I think my fast this week when I was like doing some laps is a 32.26 or something. And yeah, like some people are really fast in rookie split, so I hope they also can race and not only hold lap.
Exactly, there's a massive difference between simply setting a fast lap time and completing a race with 20 other cars on the track and not just wiping people out. And that's, I think, what's tripped up quite a lot of the new people we've had in the last month. A lot of new members, a lot of them have been really, really good. A lot of them have been really excellent over one lap. They've had really good pace, but just too many simple mistakes, like just driving through people, not understanding that if someone's ahead of you and they take a bit of a slow line, you can't just plow through them, or making sure you're leaving space. A lot of guys who have like raced against AI, or maybe done F1 games, or not done community sim racing before, where there's more of a emphasis on respecting each other and racing cleanly. Because if you're driving in Gran Turismo Sport or Assetto Corsa Competizione, and you can just punt the guy in front of you, take the win, and take a small hit to your safety rating, and it doesn't really matter. But here it's massive consequences. Of course, we have full like race stewarding that's done after the race by a massive team of stewards, and we really thoroughly look into everything, so you can't get away with it, and you're racing with the same guys every week, so you have to have that trust and respect for each other.
And that's yeah, you said a 132.70.
Yeah, it's very fast. At the front we have Rabbi Zajo as well, who's making his return. He's been... as he has a little bit of a spin. Rabbi has been away for a couple of weeks. I know we saw him from the autumn onwards, so looking forward to having him back out on track today. Quantum setting the pace, although not that far behind Pedro, Tatsuya, and Rabbi. So there's a lot of fast guys out there today.
I think this is the fast split.
I think there are fast guys in both. Of course, we have the lovely spec livery today. There is Dog the Bounty Punter telling you to use the brakes if you want to be a pro driver, which hopefully some people will do.
Toaster is indeed smurfing at the moment in no split.
Is he leading?
Yes.
Okay, well...
364.
Okay, well, hopefully somebody punts Toaster for us. Otherwise, he'll be too smug if he wins 2 events in 1 month.
If that happens, yeah, that's not... No, no.
Well, best of luck to Toaster, but, yeah.
It's Toaster.
Charlie Hands 55 makes up the top 10 with a 134.1. Everyone's looking pretty consistent so far. The spread isn't too big between the front and the back. There's a couple guys at the back who are just still getting in the groove of things, but yeah, the split's looking pretty tight up the front so far.
I'm still missing some people, but yeah.
Yeah, that's just ACTV. If they don't show up in qualifying, they definitely will show up in the race, so not too much to worry about that there.
Somebody goes out of the pits.
That is Tatsuya coming out the pits.
I've spent so much time on interior work this week for one livery.
Sometimes that just happens.
It's like Vanish MC drives. I don't know if he drives at the moment with VR, but he is going to learn driving VR as at the Corsa.
Oh, Charlie's had a little off and back to the pits.
And I've painted like his steering wheel bright pink, and some other stuff like some annoying little things he can see from the cockpit with VR. So I hoped, and I sent him like really late last night delivery, and then I was like, oh fuck, we need to do yeah, sign up and everything for that, and I was like, what did you see tomorrow? And then I was like, too late to awaken. He also.
Yeah, sometimes it just happens, and of course, and I mean, Zyfe can only do so much. He's being the livery and server master, and Fyoda's busy today, so yeah, sometimes it just happens. I mean, we can't keep doing revisions of the livery pack and stuff. As who are we on board with right now? I think we're on board with Pedro Oliveira. No, Tatsuya, was that we're on board with? Yeah. I was noticing that corner Tatsuya was just coming through there. The bumps on this track are so real, and this car has an incredible amount of front end grip. This car has so much mechanical grip, but you really have to be careful when you are like correcting the car, because it's so easy just to overcorrect the tiniest bit, and then the wheels go from understeering to gripping perfectly, and they catapult you off into the other direction. So you have to be really, really careful with your wheel. Really small movements, really tiny corrections here.
I did some laps, and I just like, how is this car so? And I'm driving at the moment in the MX-5 Cup, and I don't really like the MX-5. But when driving this car, I like the MX-5 more than this.
Yeah, the MX-5 is definitely a more agreeable car. The MX-5 has more power and it has really fat tyres which really grip the road and give you a lot more grip and confidence. This Ginetta is a lot smaller, a lot lighter, lower profile, thinner tyres. It also is so heavily put on the front. Like the MX-5 is quite stable, but this Ginetta really has so much of its kind of like focus put on its front end and its handling, and it does steer really well. It's so pointy, but you've got to be careful not to let the rear escape from you. As we go on board with Quantum, and he's looking to beat his current provisional pole time. He's only got 2.5 tenths to Pedro Oliveira, and that can really be made up here. We've seen some incredibly fast times this week. We've seen 29s this week, let alone 30s.
I'm especially excited for the pro split later. Looking how fast those guys are doing, and even in the race.
Oh, it's going to be so competitive. We have so many guys all setting really regular 30s. It's going to be a incredibly close race. Of course, last week we had an absolute treat in the pro split with the Formula Agile at Hungaroring. We had Marco Alonso, Patrese, Jens, Iwis all absolutely spooning it out, going really hard for the all-out win. We saw some incredible racing. There were some crashes. Oh, was Kevin Cameron just, he's on the apex there. That's going to hurt Quantum a little bit. But yeah, we saw a few crashes in the pro split last week, but the racing up the front was impeccable. It was one of the best, some of the best wheel-to-wheel racing I've ever seen.
He's on pole position.
Oh, Pedro has taken pole position now. Quantum might be affected there after his little having to avoid Kevin there. Oh, but Quantum still takes pole position back. He's 2 tenths clear of Pedro, and Quantum definitely has more time in that. He can definitely go faster. Now, what can Pedro do? Pedro's had to abort his lap, probably because he saw Quantum's time and thought, oh, damn, I thought I had him.
They're going both out of pits at the moment in the back.
Yeah, I see them both coming out there.
Cello this week doing the same thing, where he flies up in the air.
That's Charlie Hands again having a little bit of trouble there, taking his time to get back to the pits. I love the little sparkly paint on these liveries this week. I'm a big fan of sparkly paint. I like that very much. I received some criticism from Will and Toaster about my choice of colour palettes for the cars, so I picked some new colours this week and I hope they look nice. I think this blue looks very nice.
The red one is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost a little bit, it's like, it's more of a blue red than an orange red, if that makes sense. But I like
no, it doesn't to me.
It looks almost purple from certain angles. It has more blue in it than green, which is on the other end of the orange spectrum, but yeah, or the red spectrum, but yeah, looking good. Quantum is still in pole position. Pedro Oliveira second, Nero Debera third, Tatsuya fourth.
So fast.
He is very quick, so we'll see if Quantum can get a fat dub today and avoid any incidents in the reverse split race. He should be definitely on for a pro roll this week, I think. Quantum's been coming on really well. He still has a couple little accidents in him that I think just a little bit of calming down and relaxing would stop him from making, but he definitely has the pace. The pace is absolutely unargued with him.
I feel like at the moment in the MX-5 problem, it's like that I'm too slow to get up to that little pack with Harry, Quantum, and
Iwis.
Iwis, thank you.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, I'm like too slow for them, and I'm too fast for like for the midfield. So I always like in a little gap.
Yeah.
And I still don't know how I do that like every time, because like 3 races, and 3 times I've been like in a big gap, except for TTS, because I've made maybe a little bit of mistake.
Yeah. It's nice though, because it means that because you're not having to drive your absolute fastest to finish ahead of the cars behind you, it means that you can back off a little bit, make sure you're really safe. Once you've got in a position that you're happy with, it means that you can just roll it back a little bit and not overdrive the car, not risk making a mistake, because there's a fantastic drift going on there. That I think that was it wasn't Charlie Hands, I'm not sure who it was, but there was a fantastic Kansai drift through there. Yeah, it was probably Mako either way. But yeah, it's nice because it means you can just take your time and not have to worry about it. Or if you do a bit more practice, you can go catch those guys up the front.
I'm doing too much practice for MX-5 at the moment.
Well, you are doing very well, so it's not practice that's being misspent. It's getting
still in pole position. This is
it's getting nice and tight actually in the grip as well. I think Kevin Cameron's doing a good time for him. I know he's been towards the back in the last couple of races we've had, and I think he's just been doing some practice. I've seen him on the server, and if he's now in the 33s, that's a nice time for him.
He's drifting.
As I say that, he has a little bit of an off. It is not the easiest car combo this week, but it'll be nice to see if he can get a good result today. As Charlie Hands looks to be off again. Maybe Charlie could have spent a little bit more time in practice this week, as he's now reversing back on the track to try and not ruin his lap, getting himself a good run-up. That's maybe a bit dangerous, but... Oh, now he's having to wait for Vanished MC to come past.
I hope Vanish does a great time, because he still didn't set a lap, probably.
Yeah, he may have set a lap, he's just not appearing on the timesheet as Rabbi Zejo is back to the pits.
I think with the amount of practice he did this week, no.
We'll see. The track limits can be a little bit tricky here, so it's not impossible to invalidate your lap unexpectedly. Charlie Hands again having trouble. Charlie, every time I've seen you, you've been off the track. Maybe needs a little bit more practice. I have to say, I haven't seen Charlie Hands on the server since last week's race, so maybe he just needs to do a little bit more practice. As Quantum is back in the pits, he's maybe aborting his run there. Going back out again. Gonzulo also back to the pits. See Tatsuya's coming across the line. Let's see what lap time this is going to be. This is an out lap. Let's see if Tatsuya can get back up there and chase that front pack.
The top like 4, 5, and 6 are really close to each other. Especially with 4 or 5.
And Simon White is on the scoreboard in 13th with a 1:34. Good to see Simon setting a valid time. Hopefully he can build on that. We are now up to 14 cars setting valid laps, so a few more just need to get a valid lap in, and I'm sure 1 or 2 have set a valid lap, they're just not showing up on our on our ACTV for some reason.
Vanish MC gets a lap in.
Excellent, making the 15th. Vanish MC a little bit off the pace though, so he needs to get out there in the next 4 minutes and set another lap time. We are on board with Tatsuya. He's had a pretty clean lap so far. He's got a little bit of traffic up ahead, but the slipstream is really powerful here, so if Tatsuya can grab some slipstream from Gonzulo onto the final straight, that might really help him. Looking nice and tidy through this fast section as Meridabera is offline. Let's hope he slows down. He does. And now it's all down to the final corner. What can Tatsuya do as Gonzulo gets wide, and that's going to really compromise Tatsuya's lap there. He had to take a really narrow line to avoid Gonzulo, and that's not going to be a fast lap.
Makes 5th place at the moment.
Nice, Kartoska making the top 5. Pedro's going to have to go around again as Kartoska's really throwing it over those curbs. Oh, but running a bit wide out in turn 3, and now he's got to drift on.
Lost it.
Yeah, that's going to be it for him. He's got 3 minutes, so enough time to do a couple more hot laps if he feels like it. Quantum is still unchallenged at the front. Let's see what Pedro Oliveira's up to.
Pedro came closer, because at first was like 0.9, and now it's like 0.5, so 1.5.
Yeah, everyone's slowly getting in the groove and getting closer. Oh no, but Pedro has aborted his lap.
Or is maybe waiting for some clear.
He's got time. He's got time to do one more lap. He's got to get back out there, though. Come on, Pedro, let's go.
Come on.
Maybe he's happy with second. Maybe he can't do a better lap. Let's see. What can Pedro do? You're running out of time. If he gets out now, he'll get 2 flying laps in. But he needs to get out in the next couple seconds. Rabbi Zejo takes 4th place with a really good 32.0. Rabbi Zejo has really shown some improvement in the last couple of weeks. So really good to see what he can do this week. Oh, as I say that, he just gets a little bit of a slide on. Commentator's curse. He's still got time to get out if he wants to get round again. Pedro is still in the pits. Come on, Pedro, get out there.
I think he's done.
Very well might be. He's running out of time if he wants to get back out there. Maybe he's just making some setup changes. Who knows? Meridabera getting a little bit wide on the final corner. Is this going to be an interesting lap from Meridabera? Can he get back up there in the mix? I've seen him do some fast laps this week. No, he's going to have to go around again. And if he's lucky, he'll get 2 more flying laps in as well. This is going to be it for Pedro. Pedro is not going back out. That's it. Pedro is gonna
No,
qualify second.
He's waiting for clear space.
He won't have enough time. Pedro has not left himself enough time.
Oh yes, he will. No.
He won't. Pedro has not left himself enough time, and I think he knows this. He seems to be crawling back out onto the track now. I'm not quite sure what Pedro's doing. But he has not left himself enough time. He will not get round time. He will not get another lap. So, unless anything radical changes, it looks like Quantum will have pole position. Quantum is still out on track. Meridabera is now out on track as well. He should get one more flying lap after this one, unless he has a spin. We also have Bundawa, Charlie Hands, Cameron, Mako, and Rabbi Seja all in the pits too, so those guys are all done. That'll be their final positions at best.
At the moment, the other stream has some problems with the ACT
Okay.
TV. So, but still, Toaster is there doing 139s.
Just replying to some DMs.
Yeah, from Scythe.
Yeah, hang on. I also have some messages from Buzz as well. Oh, it's not showing all the names. That's really weird. That might be a JSON problem. Ooh, Castrol has a big crash on the other stream. Anyway, back to here. Sorry, I'm distracted. As it currently looks, Quantum will take pole position. Pedro Oliveira second, Meridabera third, Rabbi Zejo fourth, Tatsuya fifth, Kartoska sixth, Gonzulo seventh, Mako eighth, Farwall ninth, MC making up the top 10 as everyone else is just getting their final laps in. I'm just going to mute the stream for a little bit and check out what's happening with the main split. That was just Zypher. We're live again. That was just Zypher giving us some insights into the minor technical problems in Split A right now, but all will be fixed for the Pro Split. Anyway, let's get an eye on the starting grid. And I'll just leave you guys here for a second. We'll play the intro again before the start of the Rookie Split race. And we are back, ready for the start of Rookie Race 1 here in lovely Croft in the Ginetta G5 race. Someone is flashing their lights. Let's go have a look who that is. Someone's being rude on the grid.
Indeed.
Yeah, of course. We try and encourage people to not flash their lights at each other during the races because it's distraction and kind of bad sportsmanship. If you do it maybe once, but if someone's not in voice chat or you want to say sorry to them if you punted them from behind or something. But in general, I've seen drivers who drive behind someone and they're flashing their lights at them every single corner trying to make them make a mistake. That is really bad sportsmanship and definitely not how we do things here. So light flashes are to be used in severe moderation.
DK.
Now DK just leaves his lights on. He doesn't flash his lights at you.
Oh,
But,
he flashed lights at me.
It depends. So we have a little bit of a weird situation here because on the pit slot... Oh, we're getting some... someone's honking if they like gaming. Okay, so apparently first place, Gonzulo, is all the way down here. That's an error. First place is, of course, Quantum. But here, the starting grids, they line up 2 by 2 in identical positions. So if you qualified second and you get a good launch, you're going to be first by the first corner. So again, Croft is an unusual circuit with some unusual grid slots. So it's not going to be a massive issue, but it will be a little bit of an interesting situation today for these guys. If you qualified first, you're not guaranteed first going into the first turn.
Why is Ella flashing his lights?
Oh, so many honks.
Oh, I don't hear them. I'm so happy about that.
Okay, I can hear them. Everyone's honking. So of course Quantum will have the inside line going into turn 1, but he's really got to outdrag Pedro on the start if he wants to avoid losing that place into turn 1. Let's go get ourselves into position. Nice long run down to turn 1. Turn 1 is very fast, and then turn 2 and 3 are also pretty fast as well. So not too many opportunities to get past until you get to the big heavy braking zone for turn 6. But it'll be interesting to see if these guys can fight each other off.
If you go around the outside on D1, you can probably stick it around and like hold your position, or maybe gain a position. But if you're like on the inside, you're absolutely getting murdered.
Okay, and it's almost time. 10 seconds to go. We'll see some lights very, very soon.
1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights.
4, 5, and 6. And we are off for Rookie Split B. Someone in the green cars had a slow start there. It looks like Pedro Oliveira's had a better start than Quantum. Can he get clear going into turn 1? All looking clean so far. Haven't had any contact yet. Oh, that's going to be tricky. And Pedro has taken the lead going into turn 1 fantastically. Quantum, Rabizajo, and Quantum is off. Oh, I think Quantum just ran himself out of the road there. Rabizajo was taken second. There's been a little bit of a crash further down the field as well. That's Vanished MC and Simon White and MC involved in that. But Pedro Oliveira is currently leading the race. He brilliantly took P1 from Quantum, who I think just ran himself out on Rabizajo there. Of course, stewards will definitely have to have a look at that one. Stewards will definitely have to have a look at that one, but that may have been Rabi's fault, or it may have been Quantum's. We'll have to see. That Pedro is completely clear right now. He's going to be running away with this. Merit Berra has also done very well, making his way up into second place, and Kartoska in third.
Vanished dropping.
Yeah, Vanished has dropped back down. He maybe had a little bit of an off in the gravel. Gonzulo is off as well. Oh, not sure what happened to Gonzulo there. He had a little bit of an off, but he is recovering well and rejoining the track sensibly, which is always nice to see. Well done, Gonzulo.
Quantum is a really big catch. Someone's gone off lately.
Kevin Cameron caught some serious air there. I'm not quite sure what happened, but he's now back down to last place, so Kevin can get a recovery on. And there's a massive pack of cars here as Charlie Hans, Kartoska, and Tatsuya are really, really close going into that final hairpin. As Kartoska doing a little bit of door banging there with Charlie Hans, but keeping it clean.
Mako is past Simon White. Just gonna hold it. Somebody's like completely on the grass there. Just look at the gap between Pedro and Mera de Beer.
Yeah, Pedro has already made a really nice gap for himself. He was lucky because cars behind him were involved in that little turn 1 incident, but yeah, Quantum doing a good job of fighting his way back up, but he's got to get past some good drivers here as Mako and Simon White going a little bit too deep, and Quantum is going to say thank you very much if he gets a chance, but maybe sensibly backing out of that one. And the gap between Pedro and Meridibera is now up to 3 seconds.
Rabbi Sasho takes another line to maybe try to stick around the outside.
Oh, and Quantum is getting really impatient, and that's a really bad move from Quantum. That's a really disappointing move from Quantum there, as he's just stopped the car and let everyone through. This is not a good piece of driving from Quantum there, unfortunately. That was just a greedy move on Mako, and he didn't back out of it in time. I think Quantum's been the master of his own downfall today, unfortunately, and he very well might be in trouble for that one there. That was not a patient and well-executed move. Pedro is now 3.5 seconds clear up front. I think he's pretty much clear. Tatsuya is within a second of Meridibera, though, so if he gets a move on, he can maybe fight for second place.
Look at the gap between Farrell and Bundua.
Yeah,
really close
and Charlie Hands as well. These three are still in a pack, and they have been for quite some time. Oh, as Charlie Hands has a spin. And Bundawa has done very well, because I believe he qualified second to last, and he's made his way through up all the drama. Oh, and Charlie Hands rejoining the track a little bit at the wrong angle there, but luckily remaining clean, although he's got this huge pack of cars here now, and Quantum is fighting his way back through. This is a humongous train of cars here, and Quantum appears to be slowing, maybe? Got a little bit of a bad run on the corner before. Oh, that's Charlie Hands is round again. Charlie has cooked his tyres, and that's going to be it for him. He has to really slow down and calm down and get his tyres cooled back down again.
It's really hard on this track trying to get your tyres cooled. And
Gonzulo goes for a really brave move there on Bundawa. That was a great little move down the inside, absolutely fearless. And Charlie Hands is really having some trouble, and I believe that's another car off the track there.
Yeah, vanished.
That is vanished as maybe those two had some contact I didn't see, and Charlie is just all over the place. Slow down, cool your tyres off, please.
Charlie's trying to race Charlie, that's a new thing.
Yeah, Charlie's got to do a slow lap and just get his tyres cool again, otherwise he's going to... And he's spun again. I think Charlie has just...
Power.
Yeah, that's Charlie hasn't turned his brake pressure down. Maybe he's not running a setup. Reminder to Charlie, if you're watching, you can always ask people for setups and they will give them to you. You were driving really well, but you just cooked your tyres. Try out some setups next week. Definitely ask for help. Quantum is on the back of Kevin Cameron right now. Again, the slipstream is so strong here. You're really going to get on the back of him and just slingshot ahead. Oh, no. Here we go. They are now side by side.
The two yellow cars fighting for a place.
As Quantum doesn't have any trouble getting past Kevin. He's trying to make his way back up to the top 10. Everyone's spreading out a little bit now. I think MC and Kartoska are the closest two cars on the grid.
Yes, he does the same thing as I did, like on DK. I've pressed DK like on that way, like around the outside the whole way. And it's a really good line, but you need to stick to it.
Bundawa just putting himself in the grass there. Losing a couple places. Shame he was having a really good start to the races. Quantum is now in no mood. He's got cars all around him, unfortunately. Kevin, a little bit of team orders there from Bundawa holding up Quantum for Kevin Cameron. Definitely not been Quantum's best race today. I think he needs to just have a little bit of a breather and a reset for the reverse grid race.
So James, Spider has at the moment a gap of 4.5 seconds on Meridibera.
Yeah, I think with the two front row drivers, apart from Pedro taken out in the first corner, I think Pedro has just been completely in control. I was really impressed with his turn one move on Quantum. I thought he really took a full advantage there, because Quantum is a very fast driver, and if you let him go, you're not going to see him again.
Oh, and is in the pits at the moment.
Yeah, I think Charlie has DNF'd this race for now. I think he just completely baked his tyres. But Quantum is still stuck behind Kevin. Again, he's got to just learn to be patient, and you cannot drive through people. You've just got to wait for them. You've got to pass them. Sometimes you are going to get stuck, of course.
Wait, you
Fernando
can't
Alonso
drive
lost
through people?
no, Fernando Alonso lost 2 world championships because he was just stuck behind people. He was stuck behind Vitaly Petrov at Singapore. Can't pump people out of the way in an F1 car because you'll break the car. Up front, Tatsuya is closing up to Mero de Berra. The gap is now about 0.6 of a second. So, oh no, as I say that, ooh-wee, that was a brilliant save from Tatsuya. Very nearly a commentator's curse there. Tatsuya getting really sideways, but holding the car steady.
Is Quantum still
Still stuck behind Kevin Cameron. What can he do? Maybe he's setting up a move for the hairpin here.
Or maybe T1 or 2. He's gonna try to run to outside.
That's not going to work. Yeah, that's not an overtake. You can't pass around the outside there. All that does is just slow both cars up. I see it so often with people who are just really hungry and impatient. Like this car, you have to pass on the straights. What he should have been doing there is setting himself up, because now he's trying to overtake around the outside again. And this is the kind of thing I've seen drivers who just, it's a mistake I've seen them make so many times, where they are just trying to overtake each other all the time, and it takes sometimes laps to set up a move on other drivers. You can't overtake someone around the outside of you every single corner. This is where you do it. Get a better exit, follow them, then get alongside them on the straight. You will never, ever, ever in a situation like this pass someone on the outside on a corner like that. There we go. Now he's got the job done. Getting alongside on the straights and passing.
And Robbie come close to each other.
They are, yeah. But yeah, you definitely need to set up your moves, be a little bit more patient. You cannot overtake people with ridiculous daring overtakes around the outside of super tight corners. It's just not going to happen. Farwell getting a little bit of a lock up there, but holding steady as Rabi is closing in, looking for that 4th place. Quantum again. So obviously something's gone wrong there, as another car is off on the track. That's Mako, I believe. Looks to be having some trouble. But Kevin has got back ahead of Quantum. Gonzulo and Kartoska are swapping places as well. And again, what's going to happen? Is Quantum going to be patient with his move, or is he going to try something wild again?
He's going to try to always fart away.
He'd managed to dummy Kevin a little bit wide there, which is an interesting tactic, but it seems to have worked. And again, Kevin is just defending the outside, so Quantum's being forced to try and go side by side around the outside. It's just not going to work. I think these two are going to have a massive crash if this carries on.
Yes, it's probably going to happen like a lap or 2. As Kevin almost lost it there.
Kevin's driving very well, though, I have to say. I've been really impressed. He had a little bit of trouble in the Alfa Romeos a couple of weeks ago, but I think Kevin's really making a good move today. And the fact he's keeping a driver as fast as Quantum behind him for such a long time and overtaking him again is really impressive. It's Mako and Bundu will swap places again.
W race again. So Quantum tries it.
And Quantum outbreaks himself a little bit, but he should be able to hold. Can Kevin get him back on the cutback? No. Now, if Quantum can keep his head down, he can hold that position and get a move on. Tatsuya, the gap is now down to half a second between him and Mero de Berra for second. Pedro is long gone in first place, but second place is still up for grabs as Mero gets a little bit wide there. That's a nice camera angle. Tatsuya's really closing up, and see, he's now not doing a ridiculous dive in that final corner. He's using it to get nice and close. If Tatsuya can follow Mero through the first 3 corners here, he's got a really good chance of slipstreaming him into turn 3 and outbraking him into turn 4. So let's see, what can Tatsuya do? Is he going to be patient, or is he going to try a bold move?
I think he backs off and tries to get another time.
And Kevin has had an accident. I'm not sure if he had an incident with Quantum there, but Kevin has dropped back down, so maybe he went off on his own, or those two had some more contact. Of course, I'm sure the stewards will hear all of it later tonight. And Tatsuya not slipstreaming Mero de Berra. This car has such a strong slipstream. Get behind him. Oh, Tatsuya's having a look as Mero is offline. It's very, very bumpy through this turn. That's the hardest turn of the track, I think. But Tatsuya needs to really get in that slipstream.
I think the last turn is the really hardest to get it right. If you do it like running spin around and going too wide, you lose too much time.
I've always been okay on that one, to be fair. It's that right-hander, that fast right-hander that does me. And Tatsuya's going for the move, but backs out. That was a little bit too late. I think Kartoska had a little bit of an off there. He's dropped back to 4 seconds behind Quantum, so he maybe had a little bit of a trip in the gravel. But Tatsuya is still closing up to Meridabera, but just can't seem to get the move done. Got to, again, be patient with his moves. This is not a car that you can radically outbrake somebody in or hold it around the outside of. You really have to be patient and set your moves up. Use that real slipstream advantage you get. And again, he's nice and close. I noticed last lap that Tatsuya really dropped back through turn 1. Meridabera was a lot braver through that. See if Tatsuya can try and carry more of that speed and momentum into turn 2 and remain close with Meridabera. Because if you're close coming out of turn 2, the straight is so long you can really take them. And again, Tatsuya's just a bit more timid. If it means he's keeping control of the car, that's good, but it's just losing him his best opportunity, overtaking opportunity of the lap.
I think MC is really closing up to Simon White as Quantum
Gap is 7
closes up to
tenths. Yeah, gap is 7
Still.
tenths for now. We'll watch it as it unfolds. And again, Tatsuya having a look, but it's
Quantum goes past
not.
MC.
He's not close enough as Kartoska is in the pits as well. Having some attrition this race. This is not a particularly forgiving race if you haven't done very much practice. It's an unusual car and track and definitely out of some people's comfort zones. Let's see, is Tatsuya close enough this time? If he sticks in with Meridabera, who will get the slipstream, you go for a daring move here, but he's not quite close enough. It's going to go one more lap, I think, with these guys. Well, Tatsuya's going to run out of laps if he doesn't get the move done soon enough.
Still 6 minutes to go.
Quantum is now side by side with Simon White. What can Quantum do? Still fighting his way back up through the top 10. Really close racing between these guys here. Looks like Quantum is through. He should be clear of Simon. Tatsuya is now really bringing the gap down. They are side by side as Tatsuya goes for a late move, but Mera just gets the move. That's the thing again, trying to take that really tight line through the final corner. It compromises your exit. They're going to be side by side into turn 1 though. Simon White appears to have had an off. I think Mera's going to hold this around the inside, but a really brave move from Tatsuya. Wow, he found that confidence in turn 1 finally. Really, really good move braking later, but he's now run himself out of road and put Meridabera back through, but they are still side by side. Woo-wee, that's some close racing. Hopefully these guys can keep it clean and keep the fun up as Bundawar and Mako swap places again for 10th and 11th. Tatsuya again is ignoring the slipstream. Get right behind him, he'll pull you forwards.
It's an easy way to go past, come on.
Maybe Tatsuya is saying, I ain't about that life, I want to overtake him like a man. Get behind, pick up that slipstream. Maybe the Dog the Bounty Hunter on the back of Meridabera's car is intimidating Tatsuya. He appears a little bit timid. He appears a little bit timid on this back straight. I think Tatsuya needs to be a little bit more just confident and try and catch up to Mera. I think Tatsuya is consistently getting tighter lines through these corners, but I just don't think he's brave enough when it comes to closing up and demanding space from Meridabera.
Yes, Mako closing up to Bundawar again.
I think Tatsuya is going to maybe try again through the hairpin as they are really bumper to bumper here.
Oh, this is such a great battle to look at.
And now Tatsuya gets a nice entry from the final corner, taking a wider entry and a tighter exit. Oh, it's going to be so close going into turn 1 again. What can they do?
I think he's too far away.
Too far away for now, but all he has to do is just follow Mera and he can get him on that straight.
Get in the slipstream, come on.
Again, he's just dropping back. He just seems to be a little bit timid in that first corner. I understand it's quite a scary corner, but still. Come on, stick in his slipstream. Again, Tatsuya is not taking the slipstream. Are you mad, son? That's tenths of free energy, and Tatsuya again having a look, but I don't know if just him and Meridabera are taking different lines there, but it doesn't seem to be working. He seems to be compromising himself on exit every time. I'm just watching that delta tick back up when Tatsuya goes for that really, really tight inside line. As Quantum is now catching up to Gonzulo again. Let's see if he can get the move done. Now Quantum knows what he's doing and he's getting that slipstream and getting the inside line going into the turn.
Ooh, they're getting close to each
A
other.
little bit greedy with his line there, but Quantum does take the position back. And he is
to 6th place.
now into 6th place, yeah. Getting back in the top 10. Tatsuya's dropped back a little bit from Meridabera. He's still got work to do if he wants that 2nd place. Pedro Oliveira is completely checked out up the front. He is completely gone. He's very much enjoying his his quite easy lead today. Mako and Bundawar are still trading places. Down in 10th and 11th. Fighting for that final top 10 position.
Is he gonna
Ooh,
try? No.
Mako just backing out there. But he gets a better exit than Bundawar, who's struggling a little bit over the bumps there.
As Gonzilo and Quantum catch up to each other, never mind.
Quantum's got a bit of work to do if he wants to catch up. Rabi Zajo in 5th. I think 6th might be the highest he's going to go in this feature race. Of course, he's going to be in a really good position for the reverse grid race if he can just stay out of trouble again. That is, of course, more often than not, Quantum's biggest downfall. He has so much pace, but just needs to work on his wheel-to-wheel racing, especially at the start of races.
As Karen closing also up to this battle. Okay.
Tatsuya is back on Merit Bearer. Fight for that second place. Ooh, really, really close here. Again,
such a good battle to look at the moment.
Tatsuya is taking a better line this time, though. I think he's now stopped trying to dive around the inside on a corner that you just cannot fit 2 cars, and I think he's gearing up for an overtake on the hairpin.
Slipstream, man, come on.
Again, he's just ignoring the slipstream. Tatsuya, please use the slipstream. Oh, they are so close.
But still.
So close here. Oh, Tatsuya taking a bit of a wider line. Oh, and he's put it over the curb. That's a half spin, and I think that's going to be it now for the battle for second place. We're starting what will be the final lap, and I think Tatsuya is far too far away from Meridabura now to catch back up. Rabi Zajo is chasing down Farwell in 4th, who's had a little bit of a bad exit there. Farwell's had a really good race so far, but he's holding on.
I'll brace himself.
Oh, and Rabi does the exact same thing as Tatsuya, and now Vanished MC, who I believe is a lap down, looks to be in the way a little bit. I'm sure if there's an admin in the chat, he will be telling Vanished MC to lift out and let these guys through, because right now he looks to be racing lap traffic, which is never a good look.
I'm gonna...
Oh, and Vanished MC has spun. I'm sure he might be in a little bit of trouble for disobeying blue flags there, but that'll of course be for review after the race is done. Tatsuya is too far away from Meridabura to take second now, so let's see. I think this will very much be the final lap. It's going to be close. We might get one more lap. For battles on track, not much is happening right now. Gonzilo and Rabi Zajo are closing up, but stick with that for a second or two. I'll flip back to Pedro to see if we get one more lap, or he is indeed on the final lap. Oh, it's going to be really, really close. I think this is going to be the final lap.
Yeah, this is going to be the final lap, so...
Yeah. Well, after a fantastic race and a brilliant move at turn 1, Pedro Oliveira takes a victory in the feature race for Rookie Split B today, giving himself the last place start in the reverse grid race, but he's looking really, really good for the overall win today. Brilliant drive, superb pace, no mistakes, and once Quantum was out of his way, he had nothing to worry about. Oh no, no, it says, yeah, final lap.
It's final lap.
Yeah, the checkered flag is out, so I think it's just the final lap for these guys. As Meridabura takes second, Tatsuya third, and it looks like Farwell is going to hold on to 4th place after a really, really good race from Farwell. Quantum after a couple of incidents does bring it home in 6th. I think he's going to be kicking himself there. He really could have won today, but just got in too much trouble. Gonzulo 7th. MC 8th. Simon White with a really nice finish in 9th place. He's done very well to keep himself out of trouble today. I'm sure he's going to be learning the virtues of just holding it back and taking your time, and definitely, you know, smooth is slow and slow is fast. Kartoska takes 10th. Bundawa will be likely in 11th. Mako was just lost 12th to Kevin Cameron, and Kevin Cameron has definitely shown an improvement this week as well. And Vanished MC is going to be bringing up their rear in 14th after a couple spins at the start of the race. Charlie Hans is still here. He hasn't disconnected, which is nice, so he will take the reverse grid race. Probably from pole position, I imagine.
As Mako is still trying to finish his lap.
And I believe that's everyone done for now. Cool, I will just leave us, I'll play our intro for a little minute while we just recompose ourselves in the commentary booth. And we are back here again, getting ready for the start of the reverse grid race, of course. We are still waiting for the session 2 timeout from the first race, of course. Pedro Oliveira with a really, really good run. He did a fantastic move around Quantum on the outside through turn 1 on the first lap, and Quantum got tangled up with Rabi Zajo. I'm not quite sure whose fault it was, but I think Quantum maybe ran himself out of road.
And I think Quantum is set up for this week's win.
I don't think he is.
Place.
I don't think he is because he finished. What was it? My mouse isn't working. My mouse isn't working because auto start system is not working. My mouse isn't working. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
We have to. If Pedro can finish higher than 5th in the reverse grid race, even if Quantum wins, Pedro will take the victory today. So Quantum's really got some work cut out for him today. He's going to have a preferable position in the reverse grid race, but of course he will be in the middle of the pack. So if instants are going to happen, he's more likely to catch them. So it'll definitely be. My mouse is not. My microphone has been muted by accident. I didn't realise, but as I was saying, Quantum really has some work to do today if he wants to go and take the overall win, because losing out at the start there and ending up 5th, he really could have won or got 2nd today in this feature race. So he's going to have a preferable position being in the being higher up in the reverse grid start. He's got the faster guys behind him, but of course it just puts you more in the mix for if any turn 1 incidents happen, you're going to be so far in the middle of the pack you just won't be able to avoid it. So I think he has to.
From finished MC why he is out of the race and his set is not around racing today.
Okay, that's all good though. But it'll be interesting to see if Pedro can finish higher than 5th. He can take the win today. He's just got to really exhibit just some calm and composed behaviour, take his time. There will be incidents. There is no need trying to win it from last on turn 1. So it's a 20-minute long race. He's got plenty of pace today, so he can definitely take his time.
As Toaster is really smurfing the other race.
Is he winning?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So,
next week, 200 kilo ballast on his car.
Well, if Toaster wants to race in the rookie split to win, that's his prerogative. That's up to him. I personally think Toaster is far too good to race in the rookie split, and I think some of the other guys in the rookie split might be a little bit annoyed at him taking their victory, but oh well.
I'm far too incompetent to drive pro split. I know that I'm out of myself already.
As my camera doesn't want to seem to focus. Let's see if that's going to work. I've tried doing it 3 times and it's out of focus every time because
it's the James thing.
It's just a set of course. So here we go. We are now in focus, and we look to be missing a couple guys from the grid, which is a shame. But it should be easier for these guys to race. I always like smaller grid sizes for races, just because when you start getting into the 23, 24, 25 and over cars on the track at once, it just breeds chaos. It means that you're always close together. It means that you're going to encounter so much lap traffic. It's just impossible. So I like the fact that for these rookie splits, we got smaller grids today, 2 splits, like 15, 16, 17 cars in each, rather than one big split of 25 to 30 cars. It just gives everyone a bit more pace to learn at their own level. Like, for example, we had a great battle between Tatsuya and Meridabera, who were both driving really, really well there. And that might not have happened if we had another 10 cars in the split, because there would have just been cars everywhere, crashes everywhere, people would be impatient. So I'm definitely a fan of the smaller grid format. Hopefully we can, if we get similar levels of participation to this week, we can have 3 splits more in the future.
Just waiting for the race to start again.
Thank you, Zyf, for the 4-minute race countdowns. I remember at the very first charge race, and then I found out I had to wait 4 minutes until the race started. I was so impatient. I was like, why? Why are we doing this? I'm ready. And it was just 4 minutes, because it was my first ever race, and I was so nervous, and it was just 4 minutes of just my heart rate exploding because I was waiting for the race to start.
I still know my first race here in charge. It was the most stupidest race ever because I did like too much practice in a week. It was the Bicarini with the radicals.
Yes, that's not an easy combo.
No, when I qualified 9 on the grid, and I was one of the few guys who were using his clutch, so I was like really fast at the line. And I'm always fast at the line because I have a really fast reaction time. and then I smurfed it around to the outside in T1, and then a few people crashed later in the laps. I think it was you also, James.
I got taken out
And
so much. Don't talk to me about that race. I got taken out so much in that race.
I was running third at one point in my first race ever, and then my internet crashed out, and I was so angry.
R.I.P.
Yep. And then I did like I think they did the winter race, the Christmas event. And then I drove to BMWs where I like Matt defended like like an idiot.
Just
Where
real
DK
quick.
and
Oh, I found out I can change my camera height with my buttons. It's an all Bundawa front row with Bundawa and Kevin Cameron taking first and second for the Verska race, Simon White in third. Let's get ready, the lights are coming on. We've had another one drop out.
Indeed.
And it is 6 lights, and away we go. Someone's had a very slow start. One of the yellow cars, that's probably Quantum, has had to really avoid trouble there. All looking good going into turn 1. Kevin Cameron is leading going into turn 1. What can Bundawa do? There's a yellow car really pushing it wide there. Let's hope he gets a clean exit. That is Kartoska.
Really
and everyone is away relatively cleanly. There's someone off. That is Quantum is off again. And unfortunately, and that's Rabbi Zajo and Quantum again. I don't know what happened there. I think Rabbi might be slowing down for him, possibly, but that's almost certainly Quantum's hopes of overall win today gone. Once again, just first lap drama between these guys. Maybe it was some bad blood. Bundawa is falling back as well. He's dropped from second place in the grid to 6th. Kevin Cameron doing a great job right now as Charlie Hands with a really poor move there, unfortunately, taking out poor Bundawa. That's such a shame. Bundawa is one of these guys who it seems every week he's getting taken out by some of the worst moves, and that was a really poor move from Charlie there, just not getting on the brakes at all. Kevin Cameron is still leaving. Kartoska is second. Kevin's doing a really good job so far. I think definitely he's my award for most improved driver of the week. So as he gets really rough on the outside there, Bundawa gets back past Gonzulo, and Kartoska is now going for the lead. And I think Kevin just gave himself a little bit of a bad run there. This car is all about momentum. You just cannot. Oh, and Simon! That's a really poor move there from Simon White. That was really quite a disgraceful punt there. And Simon was in some trouble last week, and he may find himself in trouble again for that. That was not a good move. You know, we try and be reasonable. We try not to be too punishing for people who make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, but you have to learn from them. So that may be reviewed by the stewards, and we'll have to have a look at that. But that looked pretty bad. That looked like Simon just not braking for that turn. Kartoska is still leading.
It's like pressing your clutch and then noticing that you're pressing your clutch when you try to brake.
I saw smoke coming out of his tires. I think he just completely outbroke himself and stamped on the brakes and locked them up, which is a shame because we definitely had some not good moves last week from Simon, and he needs to learn from those because some of these guys are going to be pissed otherwise. And Meridabera and Farwell are currently batting for second place. Meridabera was in a great battle for second all last race, and he's at it again by the looks of it.
I think if he gets like second and keeps...
Yes, very much. I think Pedro only needs to finish... Meridabera came second in the last race, so if Pedro can get third, he will win today. So Pedro needs to just take his time, and he has got this. Meridabera is the one with everything to lose and everything to gain right now. As Pedro's already up to 4th, yeah, Pedro's already up to 4th, so it's going to be on between these guys. Meridabera's, now he's through, he's going to maybe have to go after Kartoska and go for that win. And if Pedro can get stuck behind Farwell and Kartoska, we might see this change here. Meridabera might be taking the victory. There's been more contact down the grid, and that is Simon White off. He rejoins the track a little bit better there, but there was definitely some contact there. I'm not quite sure what happened. And somebody is in the pits. Who is that? I'm not quite sure.
He maybe jumped start.
That is Charlie Hands in the pits. I'm not quite sure what he's going on there. Very possibly it looks like it with a drive-through there. So Charlie getting himself in some trouble there. If he jumped start and committed a murder on turn 1, that's definitely not a good look. So Charlie Hands dropping down there. The gap is coming down and Bundawa is off again. That's such a shame. But Bundawa getting back on. I don't know if that was contact or he just spun. As he's now making Charlie Hands go the hard way around the outside. Kartoska is still leading and Meridabera is catching up. So Mero maybe has a chance. And Bundawa putting himself on the grass there. Battling with Charlie Hands. I'm not quite sure what's happening with these guys.
Farwell closing up to...
as Charlie gets past.
As
And
Mako loses
Tatsuya...
pace to Tatsuya.
Tatsuya is also making his way back up. He's going to have a tough time catching up to Pedro and getting past him though. But it's all about the fight between Pedro and Meritibera right now, as Charlie is off again, unfortunately. I think Charlie needs to go back and do some more practice for next week, definitely. Meritibera is catching up to Kartoska. All he has to do is just keep focused and just chip away at that gap and keep some distance between him and Pedro.
Just try to keep your head clean and do some clean laps. Just get your own pace, don't try to chase after him.
Yeah. I mean, you have 15 minutes left. If he takes a couple tenths out of Kartoska a lap, that's all he needs. And if Pedro can get past Farwell, if Pedro finishes second and Meritibera finishes first, they will tie for the win. So Pedro's, if he wants to win, he's really got to get a move on today. It's definitely advantage Meritibera right now.
Oh yes it is.
But Pedro doesn't seem to be closing up to Farwell at quite the rate, and he's really fighting the car right now. Woo-wee!
It's maybe because he's now like in some dirty air and everything. And some people in front of him that he didn't hit like last race. As Rabisayo closes up to Cameron. As Simon White loses place.
Not quite sure what happened to Simon. Looks like he had a little bit of trouble there, dropping back quite a bit, but he's back on the track again. As Kevin Cameron and Rabbi Zajo are still battling. I think Rabbi just kind of ruined his race when he had that contact with Quantum at the start. I'm not quite sure what happened. Of course, that will be reviewed.
7th place already.
Yeah, he's had a pretty good cut through the field again. If Quantum just was, I don't know what caused the incident between those two guys at the start, but if Quantum had just been more careful at turn 1, he could have won both races today. He's back up past Mako now into 6th, but it's not going to be anywhere near enough. He's definitely got to learn to slow down and be more patient. If you have a really aggressive driver behind you at the start and they're trying to pass you, just let them go. You've got the whole race to get them back. Rabbi Zajo and Gonzulo. Gonzulo just getting a little bit on the gravel there, but recovering well, letting Kevin Cameron pass as well. Meritibera is not really catching Kartoska as quickly as he'd like to be. The gap was coming down, but their lap times were pretty similar this lap. So, in all that time, Farwell and Pedro Oliveira are not that far behind. So, Mera's maybe got to bring the pace back up a little bit now. Unless he wants to leave it really to the last lap to get that move done. As we all know, catching a driver is one thing, but getting past them is another.
Yes. As Cameron also is closing up to Rabbi again.
Yeah, he'll be wanting that place back after what was probably a little bit of an off.
The field is pretty much spread out at the moment.
Yeah, again, that's one thing I like about the smaller grid races for rookies. It does allow these guys to actually get some clean laps in. You know, when the pack are a couple seconds out of piece, you can actually take your time and plan your moves and think about how your race is going. And as I say that, Pedro Oliveira is really closing up with Farwell here.
Somebody spins at the back.
That's Tatsuya is off, unfortunately. I want to see the fight between these two guys, though.
Indeed.
As Pedro is still chasing Farwell. Farwell has definitely had a really big improvement from the last couple of weeks, and he's driving really well so far today. Gonzulo and Kevin are swapping places again. Pedro's just taking his time, I think.
Simon White goes past Cameron.
I think right now Pedro knows he's got to get a move on, otherwise he's going to lose this race. I think 4th will be...
is disconnected.
Charlie has DSQ'd, yeah. Maybe for next week Charlie can do a little bit more practice. Do feel free to ask if you need help. There are people who are more than happy to help you with things like setups or practice or clean racecraft. Definitely don't just sit there and suffer on your own. Ask us, we will help you. We try and be a very encouraging community. You know, we want you to kind of learn the community's rules and values, chat to our regulars, and you can learn so much. Farwell is still holding on though, I have to say. But right now, Pedro needs to get past Farwell, because if he finishes 4th, Meritibera will win. 3rd, they will tie. No, actually, if they finish 3rd, Pedro will win. But if Meritibera gets past Kartoska, then he will win. So it's all to play right now between these guys. And but Pedro has to know, because if he tries to pass Farwell and end up taking both of them out, it'll be game over. So really, really close racing between these two guys, but they got to keep it clean. Pedro has to get past, but it's not quite so urgent. Mera de Barra has dropped back. Mera has dropped back from Kartoska, so...
I think he made a little mistake, because he was like...
Yeah.
That, he was like 1.7.
Pedro's really getting aggressive here. He doesn't have to fight this aggressively with Farwell. I think he's going to be through, and he does. He gets the move done, and luckily gets ahead of Farwell, cutting him off from getting a cutback.
Maybe got a spin or something really hard.
Yes, Mera de Barra has lost well over a second on that last lap, so maybe he's having some trouble. Yeah, and Pedro and Farwell was seeing some slow lap times because they were battling. Now Pedro's been released by Farwell. He can maybe go after Mera de Barra and really cement that win. Mera has to catch Kartoska if he wants to win today, but currently, as it stands, Pedro Oliveira will win the mini-event. Oh, and that Mera de Barra has gone off! Mera de Barra has made a small accident. He's dropped right back there. It looked like he had a little off at turn 1. Missed the chicane. He's dropped all the way back down to 5th now, putting Quantum back up into 4th place. This has now given Kartoska a huge 8-second lead, but anything could happen. There's a huge pack of cars now. These are a lot of really, really fast guys who are now all neck and neck with each other. Pedro winning out the most there, managing to up his gap a little bit. Simon White has had some trouble as well. But let's go and look at the battle between these guys, because this is far more interesting. What can Quantum do? He's in a sandwich right now with Mera and Farwell.
Quantum needs to step up his game to get past, otherwise he's not...
Oh, and Farwell has gone! Farwell putting himself right on the grass there, and he's recovering. It wasn't terminal. He managed to keep the car facing the right way, but Mera de Barra is now back in the mix, battling with Quantum. It's all changed right here. And Mera de Barra is going to hold this position. They are door to door. Quantum's really trying hard to get the cutback, but it's not going to work. That was a really great little run and gun from Mera de Barra there, just snatching third place from Quantum before he even realised it was happening. Very, very good move there, and Quantum is now really aggressively trying to get that position back. They're going to be side by side going into turn 1, but I don't think Quantum's going to be clear. What's going to happen? Oh, and that's not nice. Quantum running Mera de Barra onto the gravel there. Ooh, that was not nice. That was definitely not enough space for these guys racing side by side. Mera de Barra losing out a little bit there, still stuck in 4th. He's now got Farwell back on his tail.
As Pedro is chasing down Kartoska with the already drove like 2 seconds off it, so maybe he can go for the win. He goes like set the pace.
Yeah,
really hard.
he's got 8 minutes to go. That's a good 5 or so laps, maybe 6 if there's an extra one. So Pedro has got time to win this reverse crew race, although he does not need to. If I were him, I would just slow it right down and bring the car home. It depends how much pace he's got in him. Kartoska has driven really well since getting the lead. He's just really kept his head down, made no mistakes, kept his lap times really nice and consistent.
As Farwell gets a little bit of host here.
Ooh, Farwell really sliding. As Kartoska is setting 32.4s, but Pedro Oliveira is half a second a lap faster. If he just keeps a move on, he might be able to catch him by the end of the race, but Pedro's really got to put his foot down if he wants to catch Kartoska. I still think he has all to lose right now if he overcooks it, so if I were him, I'd just bring it home.
No. James, are you tired?
I am a little bit tired. I'm getting ready for the Pro Split race. I've had a busy week. I haven't had as much time to practice as I would have liked this week, so I'm not going to be terribly fast. But my aim is to complete the race and stay out of trouble and have a clean race and have some fun. I'm not trying to win this week. Usually, if I'm entering a race, I want to try and do really well in it and fight up the front, but it's not going to be me today. I'm going to be mid-pack and hoping to have some fun and stay out of trouble. Hopefully, if everyone ahead of me crashes, I can maybe win, but I doubt it. As Rabi Zajo and Mako are going side by side right now. But also Gonzulo is really taking advantage and might even do a double here if he gets brave enough, and Gonzulo does. Very, very nice move from Gonzulo, doing a double overtake while these guys were scrapping. Oh, and Mako just pumps him off. That's a real shame. That was a really, really nice piece of driving from Gonzulo there. It looks like Mako just outbroke himself and took him off. Oh no, and Gonzulo just catches him. He slowed down to let him back through, but that was such a shame. I think Gonzulo was just mad about being hit by Mako there, and some impatient driving there, definitely from Gonzulo.
As Mako and
Mako's fully off the track, but still side by side with Rabi Zajo.
As Tatsuya takes the place of Mako or Mako.
Who knows?
I don't know, my English is not that.
Yeah.
Not
Mako,
that
if you're watching, let us know how you pronounce your name so we can get it right in the future. Oh, there's a lot going on here. Oh, no! And that's a huge bit of contact there. I think that was Gonzulo just overcooking it and running into Mako there, running himself out of road. It's very, very bumpy on that turn. Like I've said, this turn is my least favourite turn on the circuit and definitely the hardest one. I think Gonzulo was having a good race, but he's just got involved in a little bit of trouble and maybe got a bit impatient after that punt. As Kevin Cameron's looking to take the 9th place back. Can he get the move done? Ooh, very nice and tidy side by side. Definitely impressed with Kevin Cameron this week. He's been a lot better this week than he has been in the last couple of weeks, so hope Kevin keeps it up and keeps working at it.
Gonzulo's all over the back, tries slipstream.
The gap between Kartoska and... oh no, and that's again, Gonzulo has just completely lost the plot now. That was really poor. That was never going to work. Never, ever, ever going to work. He's slowing down. He's slowing down to let Kevin through, but I'm sure they would rather just not crash each other there, and I think... Gonzulo's definitely gone from hero to zero very, very quickly in the last 2 laps. As I say that, up the front, it's all happening right now because the gap between Pedro and Kartoska has come right down to 2 seconds,
and
but Quantum is muscling his way back in there. So any of these 3 could win right now. I think if Quantum fights Pedro, they're going to hold each other up. So maybe if one lets the other go, they can... oh, and this is some really dicey driving from Quantum.
Oh.
If one of them lets the other... They're honking at each other. Maybe if one lets the other go, they can catch up to Kartoska. Because right now... Oh, and Quantum has just completely hit Pedro off. And it's a great catch from Pedro. But again, Quantum has just lost his mind today, I think. I'm very disappointed with his driving. He's got so much pace, but I've seen him just be involved in so many poor incidents today that are really unnecessary. And now neither of these guys are going to win the race because they just fought each other too hard. Which is a real shame because they were both catching Kartoska so quickly. Mero de Berra is back up into 3rd. I'm sure he's going to be happy. Actually, you know what? The fight is still on here for the overall championship because Pedro, in his complete reluctance to fight Quantum, has now ended up behind Mero de Berra. It could still be open here between these guys. If these guys have a coming together and Pedro goes off again, that could put the win back in Mero de Berra's hands. Who knows?
Or maybe after race, some people getting penalties.
Yes, there will definitely be some penalties. I have to say, I'm definitely disappointed with some of Quantum's shunts today. I think they were really unnecessary, and he's really got to learn to not do that kind of stuff if he wants to be racing in Pro Split and stuff like that in the future. I hope you guys will
get another 4,000-hour session of tuning.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It's worth doing because it helps make things cleaner, and we are working on improving that as well. We have some new stuff that's going to be announced very soon to make our stewarding more effective, and we're looking at a system as well to recognise the achievements and talents of some of the guys who we maybe overlook. Maybe some of the guys who are quite quiet and aren't so eventful, or don't chat in the chat so much, or aren't, doing ridiculous overtakes and crashes all the time. So we're now doing something that's going to help us evaluate every driver rather than just the instance in the race. And Pedro is just overcooking it right now, and he's... Whew.
So Yellow is going to pursue for his 7-man dive bomb with the BMWs Donington Park.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that, Stephen.
So Yellow 13 is getting to Pro Split with his massive 7 people dive bomb.
We'll see. Maybe need a few more clean races from Yellow first. He's been doing better since then, but as Kartoska starts, what will finally be the final lap, and all I can say is it's such a shame. I would have loved to have seen a 3-way fight for the end between Pedro Quantum and Kartoska, but those guys just were more interested in taking each other out rather than going for the win, which is such a shame. Quantum is now in second, Meridabera third, Pedro Oliveira is in fourth. I think Pedro has to try and get past Meridabera if he wants to secure his win. I'm trying to do the mental maths here to work it out. So Quantum has so Pedro has 25 points, and so it's 25, 20, 18, so 25 plus 16, which is 41, and Meridabera has a second and a third, which is 38. So at the moment, Pedro Oliveira is still the overall winner for today. Quantum with a second and a fifth will be 34. So he's not in the running either, but it looks like Kartoska is going to take the win in the reverse grid race. But definitely a shame. Yeah, definitely a shame we didn't see more action. Where did Kartoska finish in race 1? I don't think it was in top 5.
I don't know, but I don't think so.
No, we'll find out.
At least this is cleaner than the other race.
Oh yeah, well it's smaller grids. Smaller grids always make the racing cleaner.
Stowe takes there to win.
Really?
Yes.
And anyway, Kartoska comes around the final corner to win the reverse grid race. He drove really well today after keeping his cool on the first lap. He's just held everyone off ever since. Really great driving from Kartoska. He held off some much faster drivers today, so well done to him. Quantum, after a very eventful race, takes second. Meridabera, really good racing in third, but I think fourth will be enough for Pedro Oliveira to secure the overall win today, pending any penalties that he may be getting.
Takes place from Cameron.
And Gonzalo and Kevin Cameron are still fighting. I think Kevin's gone off again. Rabi Zaja takes fifth. Really impressed with him this week. Tatsuya in sixth after a few problems. Mako again needs to do a little bit more practice for next week. Gonzalo, he had such a good start to the race, but just completely lost his mind for a little bit. So hopefully he needs to just chill out, work on that red mist, and remember to be patient at all times. Kevin definitely had an improvement this week. He's still got some way to go, but I'm pleased to see him. Bundua, I think, was just unfortunate today again. I know he couldn't practice very much this week, so hopefully next week's got a bit more free time. And Simon White, hopefully he learns. Again, I saw him in a 1 or 2 instances that just weren't necessary, and he's still spinning the car a little bit too as he gets really sideways on the final turn, so hopefully he can just do some work on it. And Farwell, I'm not even sure what happened to Farwell. He was running up really high and something happened and he ended up 12th, so hopefully Farwell can recover for next week as well.
I think Farwell spun 2 times and then he almost lost. And then you come in some traffic and then you have pedals and then you lose too much time.
Anyway, we are all done for today. That is Rookie Split over. I'm now going to go get ready for the Pro Split. Stephen will be going to the Twitch with Camo JG to commentate with him. So goodbye from us and we'll see you very soon.
Thank you for having me, James.
Thank you for being with me, Stephen. Cheers. Bye-bye.